Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, starting up a new narration for a side story for Arknights, and today we are gonna be doing a narration for the and character voicing for the Invitation to Wine side story that is currently live on in the game. And wow, what can I say? What a story! After reading through it on literally day one, pretty great is all I can say. My final thoughts on it I'll do on the last episode. Today's episode will only cover uh the few the first like what uh three or four. Haven't yet fully decided. I'll see by the end of the recording. Uh Starting stages, including the non-combat stages, obviously. But yeah, great story. Finally seeing a bit more about Jan. Uh Outside of what was in the previous story with Dusk, and oh my god, this fucking menu music, just listen. Yep, love it. And the stages, battle stages themselves had pretty amazing music. But yeah, also, thank the heavens and hells and everything else that HG is finally doing the thing that I wanted them to do for so freaking long. Oh my god. Look at this beautiful video play button. Oh. And yeah, speaking of that button, this is literally how we're gonna start right before the narration begins. After this short little intro is done, we're gonna watch the unique CG intro that was made for this event first, and then we're gonna go into the story. I'm not gonna talk over it, I'm just gonna mute myself and you guys get to enjoy it. But yeah, finally they're putting these in game and not just promoting them on their YouTube pages and I don't know, Twitter and wherever the hell they're putting those up. But yeah, why not before? Why not before, HG? You have so many of these. Cannot tell you how much of a shock it was when I clicked the banner for this thing and went to the event and the goddamn CG plays. I was just like, what? But yeah. One final thing before we go into the CG and the story itself. Let's put it this way, considering I'm gonna be doing character voices to an extent, I know how heavy Cruz's accent is supposed to be, especially if you listen to her English VA and just read her lines. She's becoming more Aussie than ever, especially in this event, apparently. And then we have Miss Black Knight over here, who has apparently even a thicker accent than anything in existence. Let's put it this way, I cannot do accents. That will not happen. I will read the lines. It will sound weird because I'm not doing an accent, but I'm reading words that are supposed to be read with an accent. I know how it sounded when I read it to myself originally. Just bear with me. I might slip into the accent by just sheer reading and willpower. Who the hell knows? We'll see how it goes by the time we get to her. But Cruz's lines, I'm just gonna read normally. I really cannot do accents. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, let's freaking begin. First off, let me bump up the volume for the background so you guys can hear it. And considering that the music on the actual story is always very low, I'm gonna keep it at this volume for the rest of this video. So yeah, let's begin. I'll mute myself and here we go. Alright, and there we go. What a beautiful CG. So, let me put that volume slightly bit down. Right. One final thing as well before we begin, considering how many characters there are in this that obviously don't have voice actors, considering they're not operators and shit, I might be adjusting voices as we go for those specific people, considering I know how the other ones sound who do have VAs in the game. So please excuse if some voices keep changing throughout the thing. But yeah. Anyway, let's begin with this long tale with the CG cutscene stage only. Let me bump up this thing as well again, and so first part, the arrival. Mere moments after our guests arrive in Shangshu, the wine is already uncorked. This is a fated encounter. Fated? Fated. Dad, why is there a knife on the wall? That was my constant companion when I was young and begging for food. So why is there an empty shelf under it? That's reserved for an old elder of mine. What happened to them? We had a falling out. Why? Because... It's early in the morning, and the weather's cloudy. Along Yingfang Road in Shangshu of Great Yan sits an inn. Not many establishments would call themselves an inn in modern Yan, but this one has the most antique atmosphere, the finest wine and tea, and is the most cultured in all of Shangshu. Its sign is red with golden letters. Xingyu. 10 jars of Husong, 3 jars of Yunliu, 6 jars of Guxing Reserve. Liu, why are our numbers here so much lower than across the river? Don't blame me, they went crazy with banquets as the start of the month. Of course they sold more than us. How much difference can a few parties make? Anyway, we don't even know the half of it. You're out of Shangshu then. You don't know how ridiculous that Ho-ha was. Those 2 days of business could pay half a year's worth of bills, and no exaggeration. We were beaten them for months, and those 2 days completely sunk us. You can't keep letting them make a fool of us, Mr. Zhang. Remember, we were here first, and we're the first to do it well. If you ask me, the other places should be bowing to my old man here. Don't be fooled into loving your grandkids while you forget your son here. What are you even blubbering about? Since when am I your old man? I haven't even said anything. Yeah, and it'll be over for me once you do. It was just bad luck. If ever the one to meet those nobles. If it's just bad luck, then where's all your good luck to balance it out? Nobles, where did all those nobles come from? We always relied on word of mouth from our regulars, and you won't even do ads. If we could just invite a few pretty boys and girls to... you heard nothing. You went just now. Running a restaurant's inn depends on customers and connections, true. But what do you know about who's connected to who isn't? If I knew, I'd be running the inn. Then sit tight and learn. Anyone with eyes can discern if someone rich, powerful, stylish, and wise. It's plain as day, so why can't you? Whatever your a kung fu adventurer or a settled person. As long as you're alive, you'll mingle with plenty of other people. So keep mingling and you'll get a good eye for this. Knowing people and knowing what they know is what lets us live well. Meanwhile, you spend all day fiddling about and run off the mahjong parlors every night. What kind of future do you expect when... Why do you stop your lecture? Don't you see our two guests at the door? Why aren't you greeting them? I completely missed them. Quick, get them in. The first two customers of the day. Get them 2 plates and salted peanuts and a pot of... Holy hell, how do you read that one? Chrysanthemum tea. That's a word, alright. Might our luck be looking up? We're early. Let me treat you to dinner, Mr. Liangstead. Take a seat. The tea will be with you in a moment. I thought you had more a beeline for this residence. Your friend is still a magistrate. Busy, in any case. Busy enough to overlook a friend. Must be busy as can be. Sir, what do you think of them? Are those 2 noble types? Puh. Don't ask, observe. You can't judge at first glance. Shangshu, where 2 winds blow high and the clouds part to show off the moon. The land was mountainous since times untold. Some say the rugged terrain posed quite the obstacle to the nomadic city's development. But the folk of Shangshu were loath to give up the land they dwelt in since antiquity, so they went to great pains to move mountains and fuse their city with the peaks. Hence, unlike other cities, Shangshu's plates were distributed along the lines of the range, each perhaps hundreds of or thousands of meters wide, and utterly unique in their scenery. How auspicious Shangshu's habitation must be that in recent years it has never once been struck by catastrophe. Its people have built new towns in the mountains and opened up with ropeway and tunnels. Furthermore, with the guidance of the Tumu Tianxi, a mountain range of particular renown was directly relocated onto the nomadic platforms, where... Slow down, mate. What's a Tumu Tianxi? Heavenly Master of Earth and Wood? You might be unaware, benefactor, but Yan has multiple bureaus of Tianxi, celestial masters. Any student of the land, even might accomplished at the Originium Arts, may apply to join, take layer upon layer of examination, and so serve the country. The Originium Arts have a dazzling array of applications, and the science of Originium is developing by the day. The Tianxi of Yan are naturally classified by profession and speciality. Civil engineers, for example. The artists of earth and wood, indeed. And here I thought cool titles like that would be reserved for casters like Lazy. You know, ones with crazy battle prowess. Would Lazy be that Yan official in Rhode Island you mentioned before? My, it may have been like that in the past, but times have changed. Now the welfare of the people comes first. Originium technology benefits the masses, and every Tianxi of the Yan's Ministry of Engineering pours their life's blood into researching Originium arts and testing new materials. Other countries couldn't dream of moving whole mountains onto nomadic cities, that's for sure. Indeed, while landscapes may soothe the soul, it certainly wouldn't be worth such monumental efforts if it broke the backs and the banks of the people in the process. Still, most of the credit belongs to the civil engineers of the Tianxi who loved their home enough to put in the work. And moving mountains was easy compared to convincing the local villagers and estates to agree to the project. Yan has an old proverb, it's a land that raises its people. A shame I can't speak much on Originium arts, or else I'd have the same things on my mind as one of those nomadic city architects.
Is everyone from Yan like this?
It's these rivers and hills before us, see? The limitless sights, early spring so tranquil you can hear the snowflakes land. There's lasting charm about it. If you'd lived here since the cradle too, perhaps you'd think the same way.
Maybe. Who can say? Whew, now that's refreshing. Where the winds blow high and the clouds part to show off the moon. I can see how it earned that.
Within Changshu lie the renowned 3 mountains and 17 peaks, and they draw plenty of tourists. Some foreign nobility even make the trip out here simply to admire them. Presumably the common folk owe it only to the pains and crossings the land that these landmarks aren't swarmed by such visitors coming in droves.
There's a comfy breeze up here. I was worried that'd rain and delay us from heading up the mountain today.
Quite right, benefactor. The spring breeze caresses one's cheeks, and drizzles fall finally, all silent and slick in the rain.
Been meaning to ask actually. You're a martial artist, right? So how'd you get so bookish?
My master often instructed us that practicing the martial arts hardly precludes the study of culture. Indeed, the arts come both martial and cultural. To learn them well is but the duty of the modern soul. Besides, the art of gap can be a gateway to making some money. Benefactor, what say we visit the nearest summit on the way? I hear more people have taken to the mountains these last 2 years. There's been quite the hubbub.
Pass. We'll rest in the city for a day or two, wait for the sisters to meet up with us, and head on our way. Never felt so bad about missing all the scenery on the way though.
You've always been singularly devoted, benefactor. A mind only for one objective, not a whit more. And as proof of your conscientiousness, you've never taken a break.
Never take breaks. Me?
But of course.
Whatever. Flattery will get you nowhere. We're not going.
But you're merely taking me to the office for onboarding. Such a minor errand. Needn't be so urgent. And did I not hear Lava mention you undertook this journey intending a vacation? Surely nothing impedes you from a good tour of the scenery then?
Only Lava were here. I'm not the only one who needs to sort out her head right now.
Benefactor Lava just happened to be tasked with a sudden commission, taking her a different way. I imagine she'll pass by scenery just as fine.
I don't think she's the type to gawp at the view, not in a million years.
So she isn't?
To be honest though, she wasn't always this way. Me neither, of course.
You needed brood, benefactor. Things change, we change. The world's affairs are inconstant. Let's hurry on our way then. Found them, Miss Du.
You sure?
No mistake. They came in at Jiangshan Crossing and got to Yingfen Road in Beicheng District. We got someone reliable to come with him the whole way.
And the Arknights carrying an antique little box on him, correct?
Yep, clear as day.
If anything goes wrong, you're responsible.
You left this to us. We won't let it go wrong.
Good. Then we're paying this buccaneer a visit in place of these yellow-bellied oldies.
Alright, and now moving on to the stories around stage number 1. Title, Apparition. Let's begin with the before story. The inn has over 10 branch locations in Changshu, yet they do not take the name Jingyu. Perhaps Jinglu for a journey fortunate, or Jingfu for a journey blessed, but Jingyu for a journey plentiful belongs to this inn alone. And of course, this inn alone provides such an incredible view of the skyscrapers against the twin moons mirrored in the distant lake at night. The innkeeper paid mind only to the scenery when choosing locations, not to the guests, nor the rent. Fine scenery puts guests in a fine mood. Fine scenery puts all in harmony, and the coin will come whether you like it or not. Fine tea indeed, and a fine view. First time should stay somewhere nice, get a good impression of Changshu. Jingyu Inn, an antique, elegant name. Famous, but it only recently got into food service. The innkeeper has talent, and whatever he touches goes well. It's grown to be a lot to handle, but still he... Is that him? There, busying about? The very same. Doesn't look like an owner at all, very steady as he goes. You have to admire him. If only I knew what my old schoolmate was up to. The Ling boy. To borrow your words, as steady as he goes. Is he a good Mandarin? Ask any passerby, shoe shiner, yam hawker, or taxi driver on the street. They'd all give him a thumbs up. Living his dream, then. Wish I could say that. You haven't met Mr. Liang in over 10 years? Nope. But he still chose you to deliver this item. That is it. That it is. Then your bond must deserve a thumbs up as well. I'm not experienced enough to say what this portends. I only know by Mr. Liang's expression that this is no laughing matter. Hardly. I wouldn't dare flaunt any grand bond with you or Mr. Liang, but Liang Shun, the man, is a friend. A friend, you say? And a good one. A good friend is hard enough to find, much less one that will stay so after 10 years apart. What about you, Master Shen? What about me? With so many ferrymen at the docks, didn't it seem strange it chose you in particular? No, I was briefed by Mr. Liang, so I assumed you were too. I have no need for the details. I had to steal this thing right out of a smuggler's hands for old Mr. Liang. Took some effort. I didn't ask you, must have been itching to speak. I came all this way with no one to talk to. You bet, Amici. I'm surprised you trust Liang. What with that cold look on his face? Most people don't. You trust him because he's your friend. I do because he's the magistrate of Changshu. Do you know him well? I do. Mr. Liang is good to us, so we return the favor. How long have you been in this business, Master Shen? Hard to say. Who counts out the passing years on their fingers? 20? 30? Very admirable. I'm only a boatman. What's there to admire? Lately they've been putting in engines on the boats. Maybe I'll be out of a job in a few years. They'll still need someone to navigate the route and keep watch of the sky. I figure as long as there are waterways on the years to run long, boatmen and catastrophe messengers are in the same boat. Catastrophes, you say? You don't see one often, but when you do, you never forget. Have you seen one before? I have, but also things even more frightening. Not on the rivers, mind you. Wait, what have you got me saying? What is it? Strange. Two foreigners, it seems. Alright, two guests. Two guests.
So this is your reputation exceptional dishes quintessential service.
Jesus Christ.
Service congenial. Treatment all equal is Xingxiu in then?
But of course, my master had nothing but praise for the Xingyu name. So while I've never been graced with a chance to visit Shangshu, I just had to take you here, benefactor. But... it shames me to admit, but my master praised only the name, not any particular amenity. So I'm also ignorant as to its precise forte. Here's your tea. Just refreshments, or will you two be needing lodging too?
Wow, they've even got the standard line, huh?
Hey, listen here. Maybe we've only been open for a few years, but trace the name Xingyu back and you'll see it's got a century's worth of fame. Benefactor, we've been searching for lodging. The prices are suitable enough, and it's not far from the northern crossing we agreed to meet at. What say you?
I'm fine with whatever.
Then 2 rooms, please. Alright then. Anything to eat for now? May I ask what you have? I'll recommend that set meals are on the signs. We're currently on the afternoon menu. If you need anything, just shout. Very well, let's see.
This one looks alright, mate. Lots of yan flavor in that name.
The extra spicy foul blood curd set, I'd recommend refraining for now.
Why? When in Londinium, right? Can't hurt to try.
In my experience, the dishes don't quite
match with the lunchtime sensibilities a Rimbilitonian such as yourself might be accustomed to. That's so. I think I'm pretty good with spice myself. What are you sneaking peeks at?
Look there at the preparator, the innkeeper, I wager.
What about him?
He's a force to be reckoned with.
A force how?
Of course he has to be, with a business this grand, but there's something more than that.
Are those calluses on his hands?
Your vision's as astonishing as ever, benefactor.
And there's been 2 guests on the floor upstairs eyeing us ever since we walked in.
What part of them caught your eye?
Well, that kata seems oddly familiar.
Are you staying here today, boss? Not heading to check out the other side of the crossing?
No, I'm expecting someone. I must be here to attend to this guest.
You're offering personal service. Gotta be a big shot then. Are we open for business then? How much can we make?
There might be money in it. No shortage of things to settle, though.
Is it about the business over there?
Yes and no.
What does that mean?
Less blabbering, more greeting the customers.
Psh, penny pincher. Hi, welcome guests. Are you... Miss Du, what are you...
None of your business. Out of the way. Hey.
What a formidable greeting, young lady. Are you looking for me?
A sloppy man with glasses, a gaudy outfit, and the look of a swindler. So it's gotta be you, right?
I must say that appraisal is a little...
An enemy of yours?
No, they'd never go so far as to send a little girl to do their bidding.
Who's a little girl, huh?
She kicked up an entire wooden chair. What? She kicked up an entire wooden chair. One leg technique.
You have a quick reflex, dodging without getting up.
Miss.
What? Can you see I'm busy?
This guy's a Liberi, right? Didn't the letter say we were looking for a lung?
Then it's the one upstairs. It's you, right? Isn't it?
Hey now, don't I deserve at least an apology?
Cool it, mate. Hmm?
Personally, I thought my attire was just dandy. Given her approach, I doubt she means well.
You stroll in and abuse an innocent chair, not to mention almost giving that man a concussion for no reason. Give it up, your cover's blown. Now, play nice and hand it over. I'll grant that it takes guts to sneak into the city in broad daylight, though.
Miss Du, was it? I believe there might be a misunderstanding.
Did you come from Lungmen?
Yes.
Are you carrying an antique wine cup with you? Then you have 1 minute to think up a good excuse. After that, you're handing it over and coming with me.
The young lady's not too keen on hearing people out. Really makes me miss those kids of mine back home. They'd know better. Don't look at me. Mr. Liang explained that he specifically entrusted you with bringing that wine cup from Lungmen. And if Mr. Liang says so, I believe it.
Well, Master Shen, thanks for the vote of confidence.
Although, this girl's bold enough to openly say she wants something that Mr. Liang requested.
One of your aunties plucked this right from a child smuggler's hand, so if we're expecting any legal formalities...
Is the cup noteworthy?
I looked into it. There's only baseless legends. Rumors the smugglers heard from the locals.
How did this become such a hassle?
Nothing, mate. I've seen this in a movie before.
As have I, but they'd usually call the officials at this point. They'd never jump into a fight, right?
Hey, enough muttering. Got your excuse ready?
The lady is certainly blessed with a loud voice. Might those two upstairs be suspects of a sort then? Benefactor?
Mate, I think that guy looks familiar.
What, the fellow with the remarkably similar getup to mine?
No, it can't be. They work with Rhode Island. I guess there's a little resemblance, though.
How about this, young lady? You've caught me fair and square. Nowhere to run. Now, if you call the police...
Stalling for time, huh? Alright. I was wondering how long you could anyway. Get up there.
Don't let him get away. A moment, please.
What, you want to pay me back for earlier? Stand down, let me finish my business and I'll pay for those for 2 days of lodging, all expenses. Sound good?
Take a good long look, Benefactor. If we've got the wrong person, then a wonderful opportunity has landed in our laps.
Mr. Lee?
Let's see. Little blonde rabbit, ambiguously closed eyes, a Rhode Island operator. Miraculous! Of the taverns in Changshu, in all of Yan, in all of the world, to think you'd have the fortune to run into an old friend here. So how about we not sour the mood of this miraculous reunion?
What the hell is going on? You're all together. Surround them, nobody leaves until they hand over the booty.
Oh,
what inspired this? I dreamt of the feeble of the shadows, shadow counseling its shade, and this is my response. Then I'd like to see it. How do you plan to let these common objects manifest themselves?
Take it as but an inadvertent act. Mock me not for it. What the... just now... Benefactor, watch out!
They're all civvies. Keep a light touch.
Careful, that LeBear is from some martial school. Leave the Kotos to me. Huh? Where did she go?
Why is it always punch first, ask questions later?
When did she get on the second floor?
No need to hurt anyone, nothing, mate. Easy does it. Over here, Mr. Lee.
So sorry to get you all caught up in this mess.
Not like we expected to run into you, Mr. Lee. Well, let's get out of here first. Hey, are you ignoring me on purpose? You think you can just leave?
Apologies, but you won't be passing.
And who are you to decide?
Hey, Fan, that's Swindler. Oh no, that's Swindler. Oh no, that guest knows some rare kung fu, doesn't he? Zhang, sir? Shouldn't you step in before they ruin all the furniture on the ground floor? Fan Man's moves are probably meant to intimidate. He's being very slick about it. But the lady hasn't shown us everything yet either. If they work things out, we all come out richer and happier. While she's still being cautious, at least. Hey. Only fine people. In the late evenings of Shangshu's early spring, the wind arrives on time while the rain is no guarantee. So it has always been. A man lifts his head to the skies. The clouds and mists furl. Hui and Ming waver, but at the furthest ends, one can faintly see the light of day. A spring chill hangs, and a light breeze flutters their clothes. He should be here by now. I do hope that things conclude smoothly. Alright, and on to the second part of Stage 1's story. What's this pause for? Don't tell me I was a little too heavy-handed and hurt you in my carelessness, young lady.
So you know some flowery kung fu. Happy? You buccaneers already fled on us. Your buccaneers already fled on us, so there's no sense tangling with you any longer. What's your name?
Nothing. The latter man of Tsu Shu and Wu Yu.
What kind of conman gives his real name? That must be some stupid kung fu stage name.
Ah, how keen-witted you are.
So you're not going to let me pass to chase them, right?
Hence why I complimented your keen wit.
Shut it with your flapping.
What are you waiting for? Let's take him. Miss, we'll help you out. Hold it. This is still an inn. I can't have you two making a mess of the restaurant and fools of us all. What will the passerbys think? However, you two fought marvelously. In honor of your eye-opening display, I won't ask you to cover the costs. But for now, please rein it in. Call it a day for my sake. Do pardon us, good proprietor. We'll resolve this misunderstanding forthwith, then make amends at your door.
I'll let you go this time. For the innkeep. I don't know how you've involved with that guy, but I'd hand him over if I were you. Cover for him and you're an accomplice. You're free to go for now, but Shangshu doesn't tolerate outlaws.
If this were simply a matter of outlawry, you could have called the police. What was your resorting to force, Miss Du? Nothing is right, no matter the reason. A mere disagreement shouldn't bring you to fisticuffs.
Why, you...
Now, miss. Let's have your people leave.
Miss, we just let him go. We could grab him, then wait for the Illuminites to take the bait. Quiet. We've already let the Illuminite escape. Keeping this guy with us all night wouldn't be much use. Besides, could you even restrain him? And you're still holding back some moves, aren't you? Hardly. Friendship is wealth. Now friendship is friendship is wealth. Now friendship is wealth. If the young lady here is willing to take a step back, then I couldn't ask for anything else. Anything. I won't forget this, nothing. Please don't waste your memories on me. The esteemed have so much to forget. Carefully, good. I'll get a decent head start from here. I'm only listening to Mr. Zhang. If you want to see how things play out outside, be my guest. I suggest you sit tight and listen to... Hey, where did you go? How did this happen? What are you all doing? You weren't exactly clear on whether we were letting him go, but... Don't just stand there, after him. Yes, miss. Hey, Miss Dude, don't you think you're making too big of a mess? Out of my way. I don't... Whatever, it isn't my problem anymore. And Dad, why were you acting like this doesn't concern you? You even stopped me. You were making trouble. Trouble my ass, you knew they'd go through Yingfeng Road, right? Isn't that why you were here waiting for them? We've got eyes in dozens of inns and eateries in the city. Catching some blind idiot of a thief's not hard. The blind idiot here. You don't know what that wine cup is, let alone what that Illuminate might have up his sleeve. Not to mention how capable those people were. If they were willing to cause a commotion, they'd have won and come out looking reasonably too. But what? Do you know just how significant their mission is, or who the anonymous client is? You think you're all it takes to put hired escorts to shame? Looks like no one's following. Sorry everyone, I should have been leading the way, but here we are in this plight. I never imagined something like this would await us in Shengshu City though. Was it really alright to leave that young man alone? Have we abandoned him? The innkeep and the pushy woman seem to know each other. I'm worried our rearguard hero might not slip away so easily. Huh. How do you figure, Mr. Lee? She was clearly mindful of him while making her move. That'd never fool me. Get fooled in my line of work and you're out business. Oh. Then we can only hope he's a fast runner, and honestly, I'd vouch for that. Well, will he really be okay? He'll be right as rain. The girl wouldn't dare to make a scene in broad daylight, right? It's a quiet street, but someone's gonna notice. Phew, that's a relief, but fancy meeting you Rhode Islanders here. And what brings you to Shengshu, Mr. Lee? Commission at your office? I suppose, just a private matter, entrusted to me by an old friend, though. Is it that box? That it is. But this truly is bizarre. Why would anyone in Shengshu dare to steal Mr. Liang's property? It's not bizarre at all. If we could slip into Shengshu without a fuss, why would our Mr. Liang have bothered to seek me out? Mr. Liang? An old schoolmate. You can think of him as the Wei Yanwu of Shengshu. Wow, then Mr. Wei, huh? By the sound of it, you all know Lord Wei of Lungmen quite well. Maybe the average man on the street wouldn't, but those of us sifting through Lungmen's scraps, sure, we all do. Recognize Lord Wei and being recognized by him are very different things. You're not wrong, but let's leave me and Wei Yanwu's somewhat rocky relationship out of this. Ah, a shame I'll never meet anyone of Lord Way's caliber. Sure, he's extraordinary, but not that extraordinary. You're kidding. You're kinda making it sound like Mr. Liang's no big deal by comparison. Does he count as a big deal? He does. Why wouldn't he? Wait, do you mean Lord Wei of Lungmen doesn't, or Mr. Liang doesn't? Then I suppose everyone's a big deal these days. Tut tut tut. Back then, he was just a hothead who didn't even know the meaning of the word adapt. You're the same as ever, Mr. Lee. Huh. What's it matter now, with me ecking out my days in Lungmen while he officiates all of Shengshu? We haven't met in forever. Look there. Isn't that young... It's that young man. Nothing. All right, mate. Ow, 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 ow. Hands up. I'm making all over. You may not realize this, but that young girl just now went utterly berserk, merrily warding her off. Tested every bone in me, and it was only by the preparator's timely intervention that I had a gap through which to scurry. With the way you came running over, you're obviously completely fine. Fan tucked in hand and everything. So care to repeat that? Tested every bone? There's no fooling you, benefactor. I will say, though, it's been far too long since I last used so many moves. The muscle's ache alone is. And this young man is? Operator Mr. Nothing. I may not have formally taken the post, but my devoted heart and tireless effort have long since beaten to Rhode Island's tune. So, you're a new operator, friend. Good to meet you. Well met, well met. I hear from my benefactor that you're also an ally to Rhode Island. Ah, as expected of Rhode Island, friend to all and beloved by the masses. That they'd strike an accord with a fine soul like yourself, just call me Old Lee. How kind of you, Brother Lee. Well then, brother. You say you only got out once the innkeeper intervened? Precisely so. What of it? Seems things aren't as simple as I thought. This isn't the place to stand and chat too many ears. I'd never forgive myself for another setback. Then we'll head straight to the Liang estate. As for our friends, I was only told to meet you. Bringing any more could be a little... never mind. I doubt Mr. Liang's so small-minded, and you did both help us out, so we'll go together. The Liang estate, huh? I'd really rather not bother anyone else. It's fine, you're with me. Decisive words, Brother Lee. Good. If that's settled, then let's be quick. Come this way. Brother Lee? Ah, I'll be right there. Oh? What's this? Are these strange pets the new trend in Shangshu? Oh. Brother Lee, don't fall behind. I'm coming. Alright, and moving on to the story for Stage 2. Title, Unseekable Place. Let's begin with the pre-battle story. The cold spell of springtide. It harkens me back to many scenes of the past, My academic pursuits, my career in business, my training in the martial arts, and my entrance into politics. In those bygone times, we were inseparable. Kind friends and mentors were always there for us, each of them hoping to realize their own grand aspirations. What about now? The green bricks have yet to be cleaned. Spring has long since begun, yet the snow lingers white as pearls. It is impossible to know what the man behind the door thinks when it is shut. All you are certain of is that when it opens, what you know is merely what he wants you to know. He lifts his head. The door lets out a creak. Hmm. Mr. Liang. Liang Shan, long time no see. Indeed, it's been a while. You've ventured far, Li. It was a long journey, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't arduous. How gaudy of you then, Mr. Liang, to have me travel all this way just to deliver this small trinket. All will be explained as soon as I have the time. I must thank you too, Master Shen. It's early spring. There must be many a traveler seeking to make their way across the waters. Not at all, I accepted the job, so naturally it's my top priority. But now that I've brought him, I think I'll head back to the docks. Alright, we ran into a bit of trouble in the city. Lee can fill you in on the details. Trouble? You'd best be careful too, sir. I'll take my leave. The docks must be low on manpower by now. I should hurry back. Right, thank you for your work. Make your way to Shengshu via Zhengshan and find a boatman named Shen. See how far your reputation gets you, Mr. Liang. You send for me with just that one sentence. This isn't exactly your first time visiting Shengshu. So what kind of man is this Master Shen? Just a trustworthy boatman. An experienced boatman can be trusted with your life. Fair enough. Come to think of it, I haven't been introduced to those two. Good gracious, how did I not notice? So this Mr. Liang is the magistrate of Shangshu. I'm getting pretty used to your overreacting to stuff you missed. What's that mean for us, though? He's the head of the city. Knowing how Yan ranks officials, though, doesn't that make him a whole lot lower than Wei and Wu? These two are my business partners. It is an honor, Mr. Liang. I'm Wu Yu. Please call me Mr. Nothing. And I'm Cruz. I'm an operator on deployment from Rhode Island Pharmaceuticals, which has an ongoing business relationship with Mr. Li. We only bumped into each other in Shengshu by chance, though. Anyway, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Liang. By chance, are there... And here I thought you hired messengers to escort you from Lungmen. So you are aware the messengers exist. Then perhaps you should have hired them to run your errands instead of me. It was no trivial matter, and the journey was long. I couldn't trust just anyone. But you could trust me. Give me a break. What was I supposed to do if I ran into bandits on the way? If you thought it a hassle, you could have written back and refused. Please, let that be another chance with that trinket of yours. By the time your letter made it to me, the smugglers were already in Lungmen. When did I have time to write back and tell you to find somebody else? I had to get someone looking into them straight away, smashing up their hideout too, while we were at it. Fortunately, the kids working for me are more than capable of holding the fort. Otherwise, I wouldn't have time for this errand of yours. Sounds like waifu's MO to me, and I'm guessing Mr. Li took this as an excuse to skip town rather than deal with everything on his plate.
Seeing as you are Lee's business partners, we shouldn't be discussing this at the door. Please, come in. We have enough guest rooms for everyone.
What an honor to be personally received by Shangshu's magistrate. Best we accept then.
Please, this way.
You have our thanks, Mr. Liang.
Benefactor, we were just worrying about where to stay the night, and there's still some time until our meeting. Why not get some rest here? Benefactor?
Nothing. Guess I'm just tired. Mr. Lee, do we have to tell Mr. Liang about what just happened?
Yes, we should. Look at the sky. It's filled with clouds. It's probably rain tonight. Huh? What's the matter, Lee?
Nothing. Some landscape flashed through my mind is all. Maybe it's been way too long since I last visited Shangshu, and the nostalgia is getting to me.
Mister, how did it go?
How did what go? That ugly old Zheng gave me an earful.
What should we do then?
I told you, we can't always listen to them. If that's all we ever do, we won't have a future. Just do as I say.
Alright, I'll call everyone up. How will he deal with the Luminite now?
I'll go see him myself. Some things are best discussed with an open heart.
How about a drink? I'll pass. I have work later.
You had me travel thousands of li to bring you a wine cup, and you won't indulge me with one little drink. I went through hell and high water for this thing, you know?
Drink makes fools of us all.
Drinks makes fools of us all. One of the Lian Shun of yesteryear's favorite sayings. Full glad I am to know that Mr. Liang still cannot hold his liquor.
And full glad I am to know that you're still that good old foul-mouthed Li. I've sent someone to investigate what happened at Xingyu Inn.
I doubt things are as simple as they seem. If you really don't know, then no need to stir up the hornet's nest. Such is the society we live in. Especially when simply waiting for me to leave the city would more or less solve all troubles. Are you sure you don't need to check on the cup? The roads were bumpy. I could very well have flattened it under my posterior.
If you didn't feel it worth mentioning, then it must be safe and sound.
I say you take a look anyway. I hand-delivered this beauty all the way from Lungmen, after all.
So, this is it.
Now, indulge my curiosity. What makes it so special? At the price it was going for in the smugglers' auctions, it may as well have been a buy one get one free sale. A rumor circulating among the smugglers did catch my attention though. Apparently, this thing was at the center of a ghost story in the village it was found.
Do tell.
They say the cup can make things around it come to life.
Is there any proof?
If there were any proof of a ghost story, we'd have heard on it on the news by now. I only know the rumors.
And what of the smugglers?
All taken to the LGD.
That's good to hear. Actually, there is another matter I would like you to take care of.
Well, you summoned me all the way from Lungmen. Might as well get your money's worth while I'm here. But for now...
Oh? It seems you won't let me go without sharing a drink with you. Well, save business for later then. You haven't changed, old friend. Carefree as always. Come, sit. Now you're the master. How are your days in Lungmen? I heard you're a private investigator now.
Right, and Wei's daughter is staying with me too. You know why? Why in that way? And Wei's daughter is staying with me too. You know why, the Kung Fu lunatic?
Ah, no wonder you asked me to look into his whereabouts all of a sudden.
I've been taking care of Waifu for a while now, actually. I even went to her university graduation ceremony in his place. Am I supposed to walk her down the aisle when she gets married too? Waifu's a good girl, but she's got a terrible father.
His daughter, she's grown so much.
Time flies, Liangshen.
Indeed.
I heard you took up a job in government, and with your personality and skills, I figured you had a bright future ahead of you. Never did I imagine that our reunion would take so many years, though.
I'm sure everyone will be happy to hear you managed to get back on your feet.
Hardly. I just realized that some things are nearly as much of a headache as figuring out how to put food on the table.
It's been a while since I had you cooking.
You're a big shot who governs a large city. Stop looking back so fondly on the tough times we struggled through. Indeed, things back then to the times we think back to the times when we lacked opportunities to use our talents and make sure the youngsters in your city have them. Isn't that what used to vex you the most?
Indeed.
Still glad to see you're still the type to never ever hold a woman. I was worried I'd come to Shangshu only to find you'd started a family, which would make me... Mr. Liang, you have a guest.
Miss Ning, I'm afraid now is not a good time.
What do you mean now is not a good time? I'm just a messenger. I'll be taking my leave soon. Good evening, Mr. Liang and Mr. Messenger.
That's right, young miss.
Explain.
She's a co-worker.
Mighty fine co-worker you have over at this hour.
It's barely past dinner time.
Oh. Might you have forgotten our engagement tonight?
No, it's just...
Please don't mind me, I have a few errands that just came to mind. I'll leave you to it, Mr. Liang. If you need anything else, try to finish your business first.
Wait, Lee.
Well, seems I'm in trouble. Nothing, mate. We're just looking for some grub. Does this really need to be such a big deal? It's not like Nian's here. I'm fine with whatever. No one's going to complain.
Absolutely not, my benefactor. I must apologize for what happened earlier by finding you the very finest establishment.
Okay, so how come we're in some empty alley?
You don't understand. Everyone in Yan has a handful of hole-in-the-wall eateries. They hold dear to their hearts, flavors that simply cannot be enjoyed anywhere else, no matter how reputable. You savor the memories and taste the feelings and
You're not even a local. How can anywhere here be dear to your heart? Now put that travel guide away.
If you insist.
Do you have some kind of four-dimensional pocket? Where are you keeping all those weird books? And you keep taking us down alleyways too, trying to lure out the people who attacked us earlier.
We're wards of the city's magistrate. What do we have to be afraid of?
Besides, they are hardly the upstanding sort. Rather than wait for them to come to us, I say we nip this in the bud before our rendezvous with the others. The safest play would be to haul up in the Liang estate and contact the closest field office to send operators to meet us in Shengshu.
I've been meaning to ask, but are there many Yanese at Rhode Island?
Now that you mention it, I don't think there are all that many, but it also feels like I run into them just about anywhere. It's strange.
Rhode Island. Rhode Island. Hmm. Infected walking freely in the city. Benefactor, watch out. Um, Such a lightning fast reaction. What a surprise. What is this about? Hmm. Mr. Nothing thinks fast and moves even faster, as do most Kung Fu practitioners. However, the brawny man strikes more quickly than even the skip of Mr. Nothing's heartbeat, reaching his throat. Don't try anything funny.
Nothing. Don't do it, mate.
Do you know your companion's identity? Do you know she belongs to an infected organization?
Benefactor, to be quite honest, I'm afraid I couldn't do anything even if I wanted to. Once more, this is a government official.
What a strange fan you wield. You are a master of your techniques, but you have yet to kill. At least you are aware of your weaknesses.
Have we met?
We have not. However, it seems you two are somehow connected to the Deputy Minister of the Central Judicial Office.
You mean Lazy? Right, I saw you in our operational records before. You're...
Taihei, Deputy Monitor Censor of the Department of Disciplinary Supervision.
The Department of Disciplinary Supervision?
Infected, what is your purpose here in Changshu? What happened to Kobu City? Why did Dusk leave the mountains? And how is Rhode Island involved?
Benefactor, is this about Miss Dusk?
Keeping quiet, are we?
There is no need to probe Rhode Island, sir. We've already gone through all the formalities as infected. If you want to know about our operators' private lives, though, there is truly nothing I can tell you. Not that I know anything anyway.
Operators? A bestial Sui taking an office job? Unheard of. It seems the Central Judicial Office was highly negligent in its handling of Rhode Island.
So you tailed us, huh?
Not at all.
But you won't let us go.
That depends on how cooperative you are.
No need to be so confrontational, Uncle Taihei.
Lord Zuo.
I've spoken with the other candle holders to better understand the situation. These Rhode Island-related individuals are currently guests of the Changshu magistrate. They may have been, they may be involved with the Mount Huishi incident, but they clearly mean no offense. We needn't come to blows. My apologies. Uncle Taihei is usually a quiet man, but for whatever reason, he is unusually agitated today. I am Zuo Li, a court messenger. We will leave it at that. I'm Cruz, a Rhode Island operator.
Chu Yo, otherwise known as Rhode Island Operator Nothing, although not yet officially.
Miss Cruz, Mr. Nothing, please accept my apologies. I understand the transgression was Uncle Taihei's, but allow me to remind you, if you are not too involved with those sisters, I suggest you put an end to that relationship while you still can. Nian's my friend and co-worker, and Dusk's my friend's pain-in-the-rear sister. So is that in the while we still can stage or not? To tell the truth, you've likely already crossed the line. Thanks for the tip then. Miss Cruz, you're a woman of extraordinary courage and skill. Now we have other business to attend to. Please excuse us.
I hope Magistrate Liang will give the Department of Discipline and Supervision an acceptable answer regarding the Rhode Island affair. Excuse us.
Benefactor, are you okay? Haha, that gave me such a start I sprained my ankle. I'm okay though. Nothing, mate?
A messenger accompanied by the Department of Discipline and Supervision's deputy monitors sensors as his retainer. What a load of poppycock. They really took us for fools.
It seems they are also well aware of the bizarre events in which we found ourselves at Kowu City at Mount Huishi. Even a fool can glean that the sisters are no ordinary beings, but all this is a little beyond imagination. Let's head back to the Liang estate first. Now's not the time to be wandering around. We need to meet up with them as soon as possible. Huh?
What about him?
Nah, it was probably just some small critter.
Oh.
It's not like you to sigh so much. Are you so unhappy to see me tonight, my lord?
No. Is something the matter?
Must I have urgent matters to seek your companionship?
No.
When shall we take to the mountains and see the place?
The weather is still cold. I heard you've been ill as of late. You should be avoiding the mountains.
This is always the case in early spring. It makes me long for the hot tea served at Shozu Peak.
Right, I will go with you when I have the time.
That was your guest, was he not? You were never one to engage in small talk with messengers. Perhaps you might settle for leave the goods there. Stop wasting my time? No, I doubt you would say that last part. After all, you are a man of proper etiquette, my lord.
Nothing escapes you, Miss Ning.
Where is he from?
Lungmen.
So far away. Ah, he came all this way to see you. I should not have intruded.
Not at all. He is not one to mind such trivialities.
My, how strange to think you'd say that about someone. Never thought you would be the same aloof man to everyone.
I don't.
What is he doing here?
I entrusted some matters to him.
What sort of matters?
All trivial.
So you invited an old friend from 1,000 li away only for trivial matters? If you will not tell me, I shan't ask. However, this world is full of hardship, such is life. If you were to anguish over each and every one of them, you would only be overburdening yourself. Huh. Didn't Liang say this guest room was for please? Let's ignore the fact that you came into my room uninvited. Why are you making tea? My tea, mind you. It's not yours, it's Mr. Liang's. And I made you a cup too. Satisfied? So you plan to continue your accusations, Miss Du? Take a guess. I don't suppose you're bold enough to try anything in such a pretty mansion. Why don't you start by telling me why you're here? Heh, aren't you the confident one? Still carefree enough to make conversation with me?
Well, you made tea.
Alright, fine. I'll get to the point. I'm here because I need your help.
Alright.
Huh? No, that's odd. I thought you'd be more cautious. Why so agreeable?
Ling Shu let me into his home. What is there not to worry about? Do you know him?
I pleaded him to let me in, that's all. My father's always had a good relationship with the government.
I see.
Last time we met, I was going to steal your cup.
Not mine, Mr. Liang's.
Let me deal with the troublesome stuff. I only bother with whatever trouble comes my way. So you'll believe me? What reason do I have to hold a grudge against a young lady? All of us were young ones, and all of us have had to put on an act just to save face. Uh, who's saving face? Did you get in a fight with the innkeeper? I'm starting to understand just what a terrifying person you are. You seem lax and carefree, but you actually know everything like the back of your hand. People like you are the most terrifying. At the very least, I wouldn't attack someone with a chair on their first meeting. Now tell me what this is about, and be honest. This is a negotiation. Innkeeper Zheng, my father, took on a job from a court noble. They wanted wine cup of yours. About what I figured, but earlier you were helping him with that. Why the sudden change of heart? I won't go into the details, it's just I don't want him to succeed. So? Will you not believe me if I don't tell you why? Try not to ask questions that you already know the answer to. You want to come across as sincere. If he succeeds, it doesn't matter how big a role I played, he'll make me take full credit for it. The Escort Association has made itself a lot of enemies, and for all the weight it has to throw around it's stuck by the old rules, and even now that the messenger industry has taken off, they're always left out for being slower to react than everyone else. That's why my father always told me to keep my mouth shut, to hide my shortcomings. He wants me to act like a frivolous playgirl who pisses away his riches. Also, no one will give me a second thought. Then I'd secretly run errands for the court, both to curry favor and win over my lackeys. Only then will he finally entrust me with the family business. Well, that's an innkeeper for you, always so calculating. But I'm not part of the equation. Whatever it's the Yao Yi who will inherit the association, or the Miss Du who's always throwing money around, both are what others expect me to be. So you want to take this chance to ensure your old man to stay put and right the ship. That way you won't need to take over as the new innkeeper. Am I getting this right? Not quite. The royal court doesn't often come to the association with a job. If this deal falls through, there is no way my father is going to hand me the keys to the association just yet. Most people my age look to me for a way out. I told them that if my father's deal falls through, the association won't accept anything from us youngsters anymore. But either way, you're still willing for your old man to pass that baton to you. What's the difference? That's nothing more than an arrangement to keep us in line. Once I inherit the association, I will have to follow the rules. And the rules go way beyond my father. That's... Pardon? That's why you've come to me. Help you put on display of yours. That is it. Du Yao Yi, is that your name, my lady? What about it? On this silent autumn night, lingering sorrow yet grapple my heart, a long night that never ceases. Yao Yi refers to the long night from that lovely poem. Too bad, I prefer going out at twilight. Since this is a deal though, what's in it for me? There's somebody out there from the royal court who wants what you have, but you didn't let them have it. Do you understand what that means? My friend never told me to hand it over. Besides, isn't he a member of said court? Mr. Liang had you come all this way. He has something else for you, doesn't he? Only trivial matters. Whatever, I don't really care. It's just now that it's come to this, you won't be able to pretend you've got nothing to do with it anymore, no matter what you intend. I can't help you. At the very least, I can guarantee you'll make it back to Lungmen in one piece. Fair point. It's a deal, then. It's a deal. Heh, talking to you is easier than expected. Relax, I may not want to be the innkeeper, but all my friends my age have more than a few things to say about our elders, and all of them follow my orders. You say you don't want to take over the association, but aren't you doing the same thing? Times have changed. Right, right. I can't help but feel you're hiding something, but fine, It'll be nothing but trouble if they find me here. Uh... Call me Lee. Alright, Lee. We'll meet again. The innkeeper may seem a kind, amiable man, but his daughter... Uncle Lee. You're visiting Uncle Ling, right? Right. I really don't want to go on this trip. I'll keep an eye out for your dad. With any luck, I might even drag him back here. Thanks. Oh, don't be like that. Don't expect too much either. Yan is a big place, too big to find someone that easy. Waifu? Look, I need you to know, it doesn't matter if you're going to tell him off, hammer him with questions, or let the bygones be bygones and fawn over him. If I do find him, you'll need to face him on your own. It's only when you catch your fool of a dad's shadow that he'll turn back to look at you. That's the kind of man he is. I'll be in Shangshu for a while. If I hear anything about them, I'll let you know. And, once you're ready, come find me. I understand. That prick Liang Shun, neglecting his guest like this without so much as telling me this next move. The tea isn't the best I've had, but the pot is quite the work of art. A fine teapot indeed. A full calligraphy set too. Fairly old-fashioned for a guest room. I see Liang Shun's tastes haven't changed. That journey took it all out of me. I'm past due for a break. After all that abuse I've taken from him, I'm pooped. Where am I? Yep, this part was as long as you might think. Alright, on to the after stage part. The Shangshu Mountains are full of walkways winding through its steep peaks among the clouds. A conspicuous sign stands here. The sign itself is new, and so are the letters written upon it. The words, however, are old. The mountain is old, and so are the stone steps. The cable cars and the people, however, are all new. I scratch my head and am surprised to find my hair less of a damp mess than expected. It is as though some indescribable sensation is enlightening my entire body and soul. All one's vivid daytime memories quickly fade away, yet they thoughtfully drift back when needed. I decided to make my way up. I am not sure why I do so, but even if these steps took me immediately heavenward, I would still ascend. As if in response to my sincerity, I find yet another sign around the corner. A new sign, this time accompanied by new words. It resembles one that advertises scenic spots for tourists. Jingjing Peak. Jingjing Peak, is that where I am?
God, I hope I'm properly pronouncing that.
Hello, anybody home?
Oh, Jesus. Hello, anybody home?
Fine, now that I'm here, might as well make the best of this. There seems to be a pavilion in the distance. Strange. I feels like I've seen this place before. We don't often get visitors here. Are you heading to the pavilion? Oh no, I'm just going to take a peek. What is this place? Jiangjing Peak. One of the Shangshu's 3 mountains and 17 peaks. 18, now 17. The path to the pavilion isn't an easy one. Someone must have had a lot of free time to build up it up there. Looks like there's somebody up there though. Of course, if I ask what you built a pavilion. And you're sweeping snow here? Correct. There's nobody here. They'll only come after the snow is cleared. Who will? Who knows, but you're here now, aren't you? Isn't the one at the pavilion beckoning you? Oh? Watch your step. The path is slippery when it's snowy. Is everyone here?
Correct. The master won't let us in on the fun, and the innkeeper is always busy with his customers. The only ones missing are those still sitting around waiting for table scraps.
Are you sure we won't have to listen to Innkeeper Zheng? Can we back out?
Huh, you still want to follow him? Might as well quit martial arts and work as one of his cooks. All the logistic companies have gotta be swinging in dough with how busy they are. But now the old man is so in love with his rules that he'd rather open a restaurant than compete. He must be senile or something.
To Innkeeper Zheng, a restaurant is an upstanding business, while attaching the word logistics to the Xingyu name would merely sully the association. He'd never accept that.
And why does he think that?
How would I know? All we know, old man Zheng's scared of everything these days. After all these years running the escort association, only now, when he's about to kick the bucket, does he realize how many people he's offended for nothing. At this rate, the association is done for, with or without anyone kicking down our doors.
But this is but a huge job from our court, right? You're sure it's okay to screw it up on purpose?
This will only work because it's a huge job. I know what I'm doing.
Help, thief! Don't let him get away! Is this part of your plan to misdo?
Of course not. Let's go. It seems you have your friend is asleep.
Well, it's getting awfully late.
After nothing but small talk? Then what of the play?
We'll discuss this another time. You should rest. Try not to go outside so often. You need to take care of yourself.
I visit because there are matters more pressing to me than my health.
You mean the place? I can't leave while I still have duties to attend to.
Is that your way of berating me for idling about all day?
Of course not. Help, thief! A thief.
How bizarre. A thief at the Liang estate?
You head on inside. I will take a look. What is going on here? Oh, Mr. Liang, I just arrived myself. You two are Li's guests, and that makes you my guests as well. As your host, I apologize for the disturbance.
Mr. Liang, I was just preparing to leave for the day when all of a sudden I saw a silhouette up on the wall.
A silhouette?
Yes, and it looked like it was holding a box.
To Lee's room, hurry!
The lady sweeping snow was right. It was a difficult climb, and now that I made it, the person I saw is gone. Hey, are you still here? I am. What is this place anyway? The pinnacle of your hike, in other words, the summit. Why did you summon me here? You are the one who called me. I did. Right. I'm here to reminisce with you about the old days. How about a match? I'll pass. There's no suspense to it, much less any enjoyment. Oh, looking down on me? So you only want a drinking buddy then? I'm here to give you a small gift. It's been decades since we last met. Forget the gift. It's the thought that counts. Only a few decades, like the snap of a finger. What's this? A pair. One black and one white. Like ling and shadow coexisting in harmony. Pick one, and I'll keep the other. What's the matter? Not to your liking? You can fool others, and you can fool our other siblings, but you can't fool me. Are you not afraid of losing this whole game? I am, yet also not. Besides, I don't exactly have a choice.
Lee! Lee!
Was that all a dream?
Are you okay?
I'm not so old that you need to worry about me kicking the bucket in my sleep. What's the matter? Sir, someone just... Sir, someone just spotted a thief making off with a case that looked like yours.
Is the case gone?
You mean the wine cup? Don't worry, it's right here.
How did you?
The box only contains an ordinary teapot I took from the cupboard, painted black with ink. I'm not stupid enough to leave it out in the open, knowing someone is after it.
My good man, you are every bit of the cunning genius that Cruz described.
Mr. Liang? Someone out there is bold enough to probe the magistrate for an old antique. If every thief were this brazen, the LGD would only need to guard street food stands. So isn't it time you told me what this is about?
I will tell you everything you need to know. I will tell you everything you need to know, which also coincides with the other matter I needed your help with. Find its owner.
I see. Some actual detective work this time. Before that though, Mr. Nothing, where's that benefactor of yours, Cruz?
Did she chase after them? I'll go check on her.
I've followed him all the way to this night market, but isn't it a bit too lively? Did I lose him? Let me check this direction. Oops, my bad. You're from this afternoon. I don't suppose you'd believe me if I said I had nothing to do with this. I haven't even said anything yet. But put yourself in my shoes. Soon as I arrived in Shangshu, I ran into someone trying to rob a friend. And now again, would you believe that's a coincidence? Don't worry though, I'll give you plenty of time to work out your excuse. Might as well save my breath then.
I'll go this way, you check over there. Right then, I'm counting on you, brotherly. Hold on. Is something the matter? What's that beside your feet? I don't see anything. Must be my eyes playing tricks. Maybe someone's pet. Let's go. Alright, this will do it for this first episode. Things are heating up. We got our first introduction to an actual, fully bustling big Yan city, a bit of the culture, and lots more things, including a couple of characters both from the ministry, the disciplinary committees, and a bunch of other things, including some very weird looking, how shall we describe them? Electrum colored looking beasts roaming about. But yeah. But yeah, this will be it for today. Thank you all for listening. Next part should be literally tomorrow, unless YouTube decides to be a ding-dong as per usual for these very long narration recordings. But we'll see when the time comes. But for now, this has been Jacob. Once again, thank you all for listening and watching, and I will see you in the next part. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.